Hello, welcome back to the final video of this Trendline module, and we will take a look at a few more examples, and I will show you and explain a bit of a different way of approaching the trend lines. And I also want to highlight the importance that don't just use the setups and the signals that we provide here as black and white template, but apply your own way of thinking, be observant when you make your trades, when you make your analysis, and then over time you will be able to pick up little nuances here and there, and you'll be able to form your own way of trading. You'll be able to find different patterns and different ways of applying the methods, and that is really the power of becoming a better trader, when you not only copy other traders' ideas, but you use what makes sense to you and you make your own observations and create your own way of trading. So let's get into trend lines, and we are always looking for trending markets where the moving average is not really helping. So you can see here we had an uptrend, a small retrace, a small reversal pattern here once we break the moving average. So here we could have used the moving average. Then we move into this market top where we don't have a read on the market, where the moving average is not helping. Let's see if we can get a trend line here in place, and let's change that back to the original color. So you can see here when we connect the lows, we can start here with the bottom here probably, but then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches here. We don't just need a trend line when we follow this way of trading and this pattern, but we always need context as well. So in this case we need to find clues that the trend was already exhausting, and we got that here from our double top. You can see previously we made higher highs, we had a deeper retracement here, then we made another higher high. Here we have our double top, which showed that the market was running out of steam. We also have a local structure here, if we draw that correctly, which is a support and resistance flip zone. You can see resistance becomes support, and here we have a very nice cluster then. And now we are looking for a transitioning period, or in transitioning candle, transitioning signal actually, where we could have timed our trade, and that happened here once we break the structures. So we have two structures in this place, the trend line, the support and resistance area. We look for the area where we break it. This happened here with this very strong candle, a very strong bearish candle, which broke here the lows, which broke the trend line, the support and resistance, and that could have gotten into the trade, and very nice follow through afterwards. So again, it's not only about the trend line, but it's also about the market context. Can we see that the previous trend is running out of steam? In this case, we have the double top. We also have here this confirmation of another local structure, which is adding nice confluence to this, and so we can get a good understanding of this market top. Then let's just move on. You can see we are then in this downtrend here. At the bottom, we have the moving average is falling in the middle. You can see we can probably draw a trend line here again, depending on which highs we use. Let's see what we can get here. So you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, lots of rejections here already, here again, and those rejections here and here, those are the ones that trick everybody who cannot wait for the break of the structure to get into the trade. At that point here, especially if you see those reversals or potential breakouts to the downside, you can see we are not making lower highs yet. We are still here very early on in this reversal structure. We are also still very above this flip zone here, so that is a little bit too early. Here we then have the confirmed trend structure and the confirmed transitioning period, where we then break the trend line and the moving average. The same happened here, the trend line and the support, sorry, and then here we have the same again. We have a trend structure. We can see our trend line here. We have those little fake outs to the upside, which probably tricked a lot of people. Then we have more context here. In that case, again, we are seeing here price was making lower lows, lower highs. Then we are suddenly making higher lows here at that point, which already shows that the downtrend is running out of steam. And then we just wait for the transitioning period, the transitioning candle, where we break the structure. In this case, when we zoom in, nothing wrong. One more candle to see that price is pulling away further. You can definitely do that. Enter one candle later. Nothing wrong with that. And you can see at that point we are then also making higher highs as well. So we have a complete trend reversal where we went from making lower highs and lower lows to now making higher highs and lower lows. And you can again see what happens afterwards. Then here I want to introduce a broader market structure. It's not really a trend line, but it is very important that you understand we are not only looking for black and white templates, but we're always looking for what the market is telling us. So you can see we are definitely moving higher here. Trend wave, reversal, trend wave, a little bit of a pullback here, then trend wave again. You do have a trend line, although this time the break is very wide, very strong, and the way you would enter this is probably not ideal. You have your stop loss way below that, so we'll not look at that. But then afterwards you can see here we are moving into a market top, and as reversal traders we are always looking for tops for here the transitioning periods where we go from making lower lows and lower highs to making higher highs and lower highs. Then we are looking for here a double top after a trend, and now in this case we have another interesting pattern. You can see after this strong trend here we are now putting in a long-term top here at that point. You can see we're making here we have some type of double top here, then suddenly we have an exhaustion move to the upside which shows a failed breakout attempt. The buyers try to push price higher, we immediately reverse back to the downside, we fall back into the range, then we have another high here. So obviously you probably have seen it, a head and shoulders in that case. So even though that is not a classic reversal where we don't have a trend line, it is still showing us the context that we need. We are here in a downtrend, swing low, swing low, swing low, swing high, and here as well. So we are clearly moving higher. Then we have this larger and broader reversal structure. We have this failed breakout attempt. Then we have the head and shoulders. We have our local structure in terms of this support and resistance flip zone. Resistance becomes support, and then we break this area here with a very strong candle. At that point we are also making now lower lows here. You can see that we are breaking below those lows, and then the entry could have been here on the close of this candle. And you can see we are moving back into the area, which is a retest pattern, which we will get into the next videos where we look at re-entry opportunities. And so this is a very nice way of putting context to an overall market, and you can see how you can use those principles that we have learned so far across different market structures, trend structures, and so you can form a very robust trading methodology to analyze any market type actually. And again, what happened afterwards, a very nice reversal. So let's maybe look at one more example. You can see we are coming from an uptrend. We had not a nice reversal here, a swing reversal entry here. We had a little bit of a challenge for our stop. The stop loss probably would not have got hit, as you will see when we explore stop placement. Then a small reversal to the downside. Then we entered this larger range. Not much going on here for reversal traders. You could argue there is a little bit of a trend line here, but it's not as exciting because we are just in a short-term downtrend. We have the break, we have the retest, but let's see here. Then the actual pattern is then afterwards, once we have a clear trend structure, we are making higher lows, we are making higher highs. So that's very different from what we've seen here, where we are more or less in a sideways market. Here we are again in a trending market. Zoom in a bit, and you can see the moving average is falling in the middle of price action. So let's look for a trend line. You can see here we gapped over the trend line, and that is a very important lesson. Once you see that price is gapping over your structures, if it's a support and resistance, a moving average, or in this case a trend line, don't try to enter a reversal trade. Although it is looking like a breakout here, reverse or gaps, they tend to close, and a gap close is going against this trade or this short reversal. So when you have such a market structure, don't look for a gap and don't try to trade the gap. Then here we have a nice market context to this trend line again. We go from making higher highs and higher lows to then here making lower lows, lower highs, and then here we break the structure, the trend line. We also have a local support area here in that area. Now you can see that swing low, and then here you can see that already. Where is the real transition? Where are we breaking out of our structures? That is here with this very strong candle. You can see that we are now leaving the trend line. We are breaking lower, making lower lows, and you can see that the transition is very nicely described here with the trend line, with the way of looking at the swing highs and lows. And then we just need to wait patiently until we get our entry opportunity here on the break of such a structure. And so you can see the trend lines can be applied across many different trend structures, many different market scenarios, and you can use those principles on every time frame, basically any market, and it will help you over time understand different market types, different market structures. And if you have any questions, or if you want